You ever wonder why some businesses scale like wildfire, while others stall the second the founder steps away? It's not just luck, and it's definitely not just the talent. There's a hidden strategy behind almost every business that scales and almost no one talks about it. It's this: they were built like a franchise, even if they never became one. See, most people build their businesses for survival, but the smartest founders, they build for scale, quietly, efficiently, and on their own terms. Like the guy who told me, I have only got one location, but I build it like I've got 100. That's the mindset. That's the franchise thinking, and it changes everything. Because if your business only works when you're in the room, that's not a business, that's dependency. And as Steve Jobs once said, it doesn't make sense to hire smart people and then tell them what to do. But most founders do exactly that because they never build systems that let others lead. Franchise level systems are not just for billion-dollar brands. They are for everyone who wants freedom, optionality, and something that doesn't collapse the moment they step away. In this video, I will show you how the smartest founders are using franchise thinking to build empire-level businesses even if they never sell a single unit. And if you're new here thinking, who is this guy telling me how to build an empire? I'm Farouk, founder of Grit Behind Growth. I have built and exited multi-million-dollar businesses across fitness, retail, and education. And now I help real people build real businesses with grit, not gimmick. So what does franchise thinking actually look like? Especially if you're not planning to franchise. Let me show you, starting with what I learned inside one of the biggest franchise systems in the country. So back when I was building my first gym, a Planet Fitness franchise, I got a front row seat to see how powerful systems can be. Everything was structures, from the layout to the lingo, from how to greet members, how do we handle maintenance. It was all documented, all repeatable, all scalable. But here's what really stuck with me. Every time I solved a problem, whether it was hiring, scheduling, or member retention, I asked myself, if I had to run 100 of these tomorrow, would this still work? That one question changed the way I thought about everything. It made me strip away guesswork. It made me document instead of improvising. It made me build systems, not just effort. And that's the core of franchise thinking. It's not about selling locations or handing out territories. It's about building a business that works with clear SOPs, plug-and-play processes, consistent customer experience, repeatable, reliable outcome. And if that concept hits home, it's not new. Michael Gerber laid it out decades ago in the E-Myth Revisited, one of the most important business books no one reads until it's too late. He explains why most small businesses fail, because they are built by technicians working in the business, not entrepreneurs working on the business. It's a must read. But most importantly, today I'm going to show you how to actually implement that idea. Because here's the truth, even if you never sell a single franchise, building like you might gives you something far more valuable. It gives you time, because your business can finally run without you micromanaging every step. It gives you options, because a systemized business opens doors to scale, to sell, or to step back whenever you choose. It gives you leverage, because when your processes are repeatable, your impact multiplies without your effort having to. And most importantly, it gives you freedom, not the kind you post about, but the kind where your business serves you, not the other way around. Because when your business becomes system dependent instead of founder dependent, everything changes. And if you're already starting to see how that shift could change the way you build, hit like, drop a comment, or send this to someone else who is building without a roadmap. Because no one else tells small business owners this stuff, but we will. Now you might be wondering, if franchise thinking is this powerful, what kind of impact does it really have on how a business grows? Let me show you. You ever meet a founder who looks successful on paper, but behind the scenes, they're drowning. They're answering every text, approving every invoice, jumping into every fire, burned out, bottlenecked, barely holding it together. That's not hustle, that's a trap. Because the businesses only work when they do. I know, because I was the founder back when I was running multiple locations. I was working 12, sometimes 14 hours a day across 3 cities. If a manager called in sick, I stepped in. If a system broke down, it landed on my desk. I was replaceable in theory, but indispensable in practice. One night, I was supposed to have dinner with my family. I hadn't seen them properly in weeks. Then a payment system failed. Staff panicked, customers were frustrated. I left the table, skipped the dinner, drove 45 minutes to fix it myself. That was my breaking point. That's when I realized I didn't build a business, I built a dependency. And I was the weakest point in the system. So I made the shift. I stopped patching things and started building systems. Not because I didn't care, but because I finally understood this. Real businesses aren't built around people, they're built around process. And the most scalable companies in the world, they know that. Franchises don't grow because they're lucky. They grow because they treat operations like a product, something you can package, teach, replicate, and improve. They don't wing it, they engineer it. And here's what that actually looks like. You train someone once and it works 100 times, not because they're a genius, but because the system makes them one. You document once and your next 5 hires don't need hand-holding. They plug in, follow the playbook, and deliver. You step away for a weekend and your business keeps running because it's built to run without you. That's franchise thinking. And the result, you grow faster because you're not rebuilding every time you grow. You hire smarter because people succeed within systems, not despite them. You scale without chaos because your foundation was designed for it. That's the shift from spinning plates to building machines. But here's what most founders don't realize. When you build like that, you're not just making your business easier to run, you're making it exponentially more valuable. And if you skip this part, you could be leaving hundreds of thousands or maybe millions on the table when it's time to raise, sell, or step away. Because there's a hidden advantage baked into the business with real systems, one that buyers and investors are quietly looking for, and most founders never even see it coming. Here's something most founders completely miss. The moment your business becomes franchise ready, even if you never franchise, its value jumps in the eyes of investors, buyers, and acquirers. Why? Because you have built something turnkey, something that runs on systems and not you, something that's scalable, repeatable, and low risk. In other words, it's an asset, not a hustle. And when a buyer looks at your business, they're not just asking, how much money does it make? Instead, they're asking, how much time will this take to operate? How hard will it be to scale? Can someone else run this without babysitting it? And if the answer is, the operations are documented, the customer experience is consistent, the brand runs on rails, then your business becomes instantly more attractive, more fundable, more sellable, more investable. You can raise capital without giving up control. You can sell and walk away clean. You can merge into a bigger ecosystem and keep equity on the table. Because what buyers are really looking for is leverage. And nothing screams leverage like a business that comes with a manual, not just a mess. So even if you're not thinking about selling right now, even if an exit feels years away, building with franchise level clarity gives you something that most founders never get: options. And when the right opportunity shows up, whether it's an acquisition, a partnership, or a check on the table, you won't scramble to clean things up. You will be ready. But here's the part most founders never see coming. Franchise thinking isn't just for founders chasing an exit. It's also the secret weapon for the ones who want to stay in the driver's seat without burning out. Think of it like building a high-performance car. You don't have to sell it. You don't even have to race it. But wouldn't you still want it engineered to run smoothly, handle pressure, and go to the distance without you under the hood every mile? That's what franchise thinking gives you: control, consistency, and the freedom to drive however far you want. Let's clear something up. I'm not saying you need to sell franchises. This isn't about royalty check or franchisee agreement. What I'm saying is this: you should build like you might, even if you never plan to franchise. Why? Because when you build like a franchise, you're not committing to a model. You're committing to operational excellence. Look at Starbucks. They rarely franchise in the US. Most of their stores are company owned. But walk into a Starbucks in Seattle or Dubai and it feels the same. That's not by accident. They have systemized everything: store layout, supply chain, employee training, music, lighting, even how drinks are handed off. It runs like a franchise, even though it's not. Then take Chipotle, a brand that never franchised. They kept full ownership, full control, but still scale worldwide without losing consistency. How? Because they bake franchise-style systems into their DNA, such as a streamlined kitchen design, cross-trained staff, standardized step processes, tight brand execution at every level. So what does that mean for you? It means you don't have to give up control to gain scale. Remember, franchise thinking is a design choice, not a growth strategy. You're designing a business that can grow without chaos and operate with consistency. No matter who's behind the counter, you can stay 100% owner operated. You can build a chain of company-owned locations. You can license, you can scale slowly or locally. But when you build like a franchise, you gain freedom inside control because your growth isn't limited what you can manage. It's powered by the system you have built. And that's the mindset shift. Don't build it to self-franchise it. Build it like you could, and you'll unlock the kind of structure, consistency, and freedom most founders never reach. And if this is landing for you, there's another video you need to watch after this one. I'll link it in description and up here. Because franchise thinking is about building smart, but so is using the job you have right now to quietly lay the foundation for the business you actually want. That video walks you through how I did exactly that and how you can use your current paycheck as a launchpad to build something scalable before you ever quit. But stick around because next I'm going to show you this actual step-by-step roadmap for baking franchise thinking into your business from day one. Let's say you're not interested in selling franchises. You want full control, full ownership. You want to grow on your terms like Chipotle, Starbucks, or In-N-Out Burger in the US. So how do you scale without handing out franchise agreements? You systemize like you're going to, but you keep the ownership in-house. Here's how that will look like in real world. Step one is when you start with one flagship location and you make it airtight. You write clear SOPs for every role. You lock in your layout. You build a brand playbook so tight anyone stepping in knows exactly what your brand stands for and how it operates. And then you test everything from customer flow to team handoffs until it runs smoothly without you. Then at step two, you open location number two. And this is the moment you prove your system isn't a fluke. You copy, you paste, you run a playbook. If something breaks, you fix the system, not the person. Because this isn't about hiring unicorns. It's about building a model that works even when you're not the one running it. Which will take us to step three, when you build your internal infrastructure. You bring on area managers to oversee clusters of location. You train launch teams to open new sites using your playbook. You centralize your supply chain to simplify ordering and cut costs. And you set up real-time dashboards so you can see performance without showing up in person. That's how you move from being in the business to running the business to designing the business. In step four, you grow smart and not fast. You don't open stores across the country overnight. You want to grow regionally. You stack 5 to 10 profitable stores that are close together. You use the cluster to test promotions, cross-train team members, and fine-tune your operations. And while everyone is chasing top-line revenue, you focus on real unit economics, the stuff that actually makes business valuable. And in your step 5, you prep for exit, even if you're not planning on one yet, because one day an investor might come knocking, and when they do, you won't be scrambling. You'll have clean financials, polished playbooks, and actual data showing that your system prints results. So let's just zoom out. You're in franchise, you're in license, but you build something that's just as scalable and even more controllable. You build a chain with franchise level systems and full ownership. That's the strategy. You own the brand, you own the infrastructure, you own the outcome, and when you're ready, you don't just walk away, you exit like a founder. But here's the twist most people miss. You don't have to wait years to build that level of scale, because what used to take entire teams, months of documentation, and endless trial and error now takes minutes. That's where things get wild. Everything I just walked you through, you don't have to build it all manually anymore, because artificial intelligence is not just some futuristic tool or Silicon Valley toy. It's the silent co-founder you didn't know you needed. So let's say if you have got a voice note explaining how to onboard staff, a tool like Descript can transcribe it instantly for you. Then something like Scribe turns into a clean visual SOP, step by step, click by click, formatted and shareable. If you're still handing new hires a 50-page handbook they'll never read, tools like Lumen 5 turn those docs into video walkthroughs with voiceover, screen animation, even your brand visuals in hours, not weeks. If you're running 5 locations but struggling to predict demand, AI dashboard from platforms like Pigment can forecast staffing needs, inventory levels, and sale peaks. It doesn't guess, it gives patterns you can't. And what about hiring? You've got HireView for screening resumes, running initial interviews, and assessing the right fit. Then Trainwell plugs your system into bite-sized training tracks so your next hire ramps up without needing a babysitter. Even local marketing isn't manual anymore. Ad Creative AI can write geo-targeted ad copy, design the creative, and schedule your post while you sleep. And when it's time for due diligence, those investor data room, that endless Q&A, the reporting prep, use Firm Room or DocSend to handle all of that. It's secure, organized, trackable, and 1,000 times faster than spreadsheets and email chain. And that's just the start. You can now use AI for customer support, financial forecasting, dynamic pricing, churn prediction, review analysis, competitor monitoring, hyper-personalized email marketing, contract and legal drafting, internal knowledge bases, meeting summaries, and task tracking. I mean, each one of these are automatable, scalable, and faster than you think. And the best part, you don't have to master all of it today. You just need to know what's possible so you can start building smarter. So if you're sitting there thinking, how would I actually use this in my business? Here's your move. If you want a full video breakdown on how to use AI for every part of your business, drop a comment saying AI systems. If enough people ask, I'll create a dedicated deep dive on how to build franchise-style systems with AI, not departments full of people. Because we're not just talking about automation, we're talking about acceleration. We're talking about leverage at a level that used to take entire departments. Don't just copy how franchises think. Build your business like it's already the year 2030. Future ready, automated, and ahead of everyone else. Because the founders who get this, who combine system level thinking with AI level speed, they're not just surviving the shift, they're setting the rules for what comes next. So now that you have seen what's possible from systemizing like a franchise to scaling with AI, here's what it all comes down to. Build like a franchise, or own like a founder, or exit like a boss. Whether you want to stay small and free, or grow regional, or sell in 5 years, or build the next global brand. Franchise thinking gives you leverage. Franchise system gives you freedom, and franchise level clarity gives you the kind of options most founders never get. So if this flipped a switch in your head, make sure you're subscribed. Because here at this channel, we're building businesses that last. And if you ever wondered whether you really need a business degree to pull this off, go watch my other video. It breaks down the real skills, mindset, and system it takes to succeed. No MBA required. This is Grit Behind Growth, where we build real businesses with grit, no gimmicks. So let's build something real together.